Hello, beautifuls. It's so lovely to be seen by your light and your presence today. Thank you for your presence and for your curiosity in learning my ways, my tips, and own practices when it comes to reclaiming our energy, reclaiming our sense of energetic sovereignty. So, I'm going to share with you a list of 5 things. There obviously can be so many, so I'm actually going to fit quite a bit into each one and explain them as simply as I can. But before we do that, the first thing and the first practice that has been super powerful and has really anchored in this work that I am feeling called to more and more and more as I continue to practice and embody it is checking in with the self, connecting to the heart before doing anything. And this could be in the beginning of the day, perhaps before watching a video, before getting online, before doing a task, before having a call with someone, a meeting, before driving or traveling. So I want us to take that moment now just to experience it, feel it, so that we can receive exactly what it is that we're meant to receive from this video, so that you can utilize these tips and these practices and perhaps these reminders that come through as you listen. So, taking a moment now to connect to your heart in any way that you do. I'm really enjoying the sunset here. And just taking some breaths, naturally flowing at your own pace and rhythm. Just gathering yourself here and now. Allowing yourself to observe all parts of you present and experiencing at this time. And I'm going to just take my time letting the sounds in, noticing the furthest sound. And the closest sound. Bringing my attention to what I can taste. And then my attention to the tip of my nose, breathing in the air through my nostrils and out. Starting to, before opening the eyes, if you have them closed, just starting to gain your sense of touch or movement. Before perhaps taking in the sights around you, fully allowing your gaze to take it all in, maybe all at once, like a widened view, or perhaps you start to notice details, specific objects. So, thank you for taking that moment. That, my friend, is the first step, is to connect to your heart, to connect to yourself, to gather yourself in the present. You know, this has been such a powerful practice for me that I am continuing to return to, is placing one hand over the other on the heart and taking these moments, whether it's 5 breaths, 10 breaths. Lately, it's been taking me a couple minutes to just be here and truly listen and feel, to allow myself, or to just feel a sense of presence. But yes, this is a practice that I continue to come back to, one hand over the heart, over the other on my heart, breathing 5 to 10 breaths, as many as feels good, as many as it takes to arrive present, not only in my body, but in the seat of the observer, in the seat of my soul, my heart, this connection to myself, to really see everything that's going on, the energy, to feel it, to sense it, to notice, the thoughts flowing through me. It can feel quite easy at times, especially if we have a lot going on and we're not taking these moments to ourselves, to then get overwhelmed and get really sucked into the stories and into the responsibilities and into the day-to-day more remedial things, our habits. We're not necessarily allowing ourselves the deepest presence and observation and love that we probably could. And that's okay. There are these times, I know that I have been in that, and I have also witnessed within being in that some cycles and patterns and habits just starting to circle, and then just feeling so much frustration and anger rising up within me because of it, because I wanted to be somewhere where I wasn't. So there was like almost a split in my energy. And so what I really needed to do was to take some time just to be in my own energy, to be with myself, to gather myself, to reclaim myself back, to really give myself a sense of spaciousness, a moment to rest, a moment to recharge, a moment to fill myself up, a moment to listen to myself truly, truly, truly. And if you want to dive deeper into my process, I love to utilize ceremony and ritual, and you can check it out with the 3-day reset and recharge journey that I've created. But that's like a little snippet of what I offer myself to then bring myself into deeper reclamation and presence within my own being, so that I am not just wandering around, picking up a lot of energy, not knowing what's mine, not really listening to my intuition, and not feeling myself, feeling like myself, feeling really good. So let's get into these 5 tips. I don't think I need to remind you how important it is or why it is that we would want to reclaim our energy and our sense of energetic sovereignty. If that is something that you are interested in or want to know a little bit more about, just let me know in the comments down below, and I can definitely make a video talking about why this is important, some personal experiences and things that I've noticed throughout this journey of returning to the power that we hold as creators to reclaim our energy and to step more into our sovereign source selves. So the first tip that I want to share is intentionality. Being intentional every single day. It may sometimes feel a bit intense to set an intention for every single thing that you're doing, and I tend to find that, especially when I get very excited to do so many things that perhaps my energy is not really at a level to accomplish all of that in a day's span with the sun. So instead, what I do and what I've really, really enjoyed, and this practice really comes from the work that I dove into within my Earth Priestess training and temple arts, the beginning of that journey for me was setting the intention with the land as I was connecting with the land and learning to listen to the land and regain that connection to where I was living, the earth that I was living on at the time, the spirit. I found such powerful shifts and changes and confidence, such presence in setting my intention with the earth. And this is something that I do every day, whether it's in my journal, whether it's outside with my hands in the dirt, or whether it's to a specific plant, or as I am sharing and expressing affirmations and mantras in the car, whatever it is that I'm doing. Every single day, I ensure to set an intention of how I choose to move forward in that day, how I choose to navigate. Not necessarily, okay, these are the things I have to do, but sometimes I will really note, okay, this is what I'm stepping into today. I choose to move through this day with nourishment and love for myself and those around me. So, really just choosing how it is that I want to move through this day. And this has been so helpful because as I do that, especially with the earth, especially out loud, and to be heard and expressed and to feel it in my practice, to share this intention, it amplifies it. And I really call in my guides and guardians and angels of the highest and purest light, my benevolent ancestors, to be a part of this prayer, of this intention, to assist in moving that energy along, and to also help me stay on track with where I am pouring my energy, where I am putting my energy. So this has been very powerful, and I highly suggest, especially if you are at a state of wanting to ensure that your focus is going where you intend it to go. And then no matter what happens in the day, no matter what arises within or around you, you've set in that intention, and it offers a moment of remembrance, a reminder to be like, okay, let's move through this with love, like we talked about, with joy, with nourishment, with healing. And it allows the weaving of that prayer, of that intention, to move through you out to your entire day. The other thing that is really important that will come along with tip number 1 is tip number 2, which is presence, really cultivating presence, really focusing on allowing yourself to nourish your body. Whether that's through practice, whether that's through food, through infusions and teas and grounding practices, whatever it is that fuels you on a mental, spiritual, physical, energetic level, what fuels and nourishes you. When we feel nourished, when we feel able to hold ourselves, we allow ourselves to be present. We allow ourselves to sit in that seat of the observer. And when we are present, it helps us choose to create space for what is arising throughout the day. And I've noticed this to be so helpful. And at first, so much was coming up, and I was just like, I can't spend this whole day just going through all my processes. Like, I have actual tasks and things to do, places to go, people to talk to. And I've learned to create a bit of a balance with what is arising depending on where I'm at. So tip number 2 may sound really simple. Presence, allow it to be simple, but know that that nourishment of all aspects of your being is sometimes necessary for us to feel safe in the present moment, for us to feel safe to recognize and bring awareness to the emotions that are arising, the thoughts that are coming up, the triggers that happen, the reactions and responses that we may want to go back to and allow a space to be expressed, to move through, to communicate through us. And this ties into our next tip, which is shifting your relationship with your emotions. Begin to understand your relationship to your emotions, especially with anger and sadness and joy and pleasure. Right? Jealousy, envy. What is your relationship to the energy moving through you? This is so powerful when it comes to reclaiming our energy, because we are no longer pushing away a specific emotion and feeding that belief system or that program or that fear, that emotion is coming up to give us information about. Instead, we are allowing the emotions to be communicators, to be signalers, to offer us a bit of information, whether it is, feeling disrespected, feeling like your boundaries were crossed, feeling like an expectation was not met, feeling like, you weren't feeling safe enough in your environment. You needed a hug, you needed something physically or emotionally or energetically to support you in being present, to experience the level of joy that you thought you should be experiencing in a beautiful place. So when your emotions come up, sometimes they really just want to be welcomed and transformed. They just want to be expressed. They want to be seen and welcomed through your being to actually move. And some of them really are communicating something with you that you get to take as information for you to move forward, to understand yourself a bit more. So when we heal our relationship to these emotions and stop pushing them away, suppressing them, saying they're good or bad, or putting a label on them or a story around them, then we are liberating a sense of our energy and creatorship to then gain back this sense of power within us, gaining back this self-mastery when we allow ourselves to become friends with our emotions again. Our next tip has been so fundamental and powerful in my journey, and it involves a few steps, so I'm gonna just share it as simply as I can. I've had some energetic cleansing, some aura cleansing meditations on here before. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. But every single time I do kind of a different method of cleansing, of purifying, of clearing, energy, and then calling energy in and protecting or shielding, if you will. So this has been a super powerful practice that I've now anchored and grounded so much more comfort within. And I've noticed that this is a beautiful place for you to get to know your energy and get to learn how it is that you want to navigate your energy, how it is that you want to flow with your energy. And what I mean by this is that you get to create this practice yourself. There are some levels of understanding that are very helpful when it comes to doing any kind of energy clearing, energy cleansing, and purifying practices. There's so many different ways to do this. You can work with the elements, you can work with herbs and specific plants, smoke, the fire. You can work with crystals, right? You can work with invocations, your guides, your ancestors. You can work with specific mantras and breathwork practices, with visualization, and you can do this at any point during your day and let that empower you. You're brushing your teeth. What does that mean for you? You're taking a shower. What does that mean for you? As you are taking that moment, breathing with your heart, connecting to your heart, allowing yourself to then become aware of your energy, and then moving from that space and cleansing, intentionally cleansing your field of what is not serving you, what is not serving your highest and best good, what is not of the purest and most loving of your soul's essence, cleansing and clearing that, and recognizing where is that energy going. This has been really powerful for me. As we begin to reclaim our energy and our sense of sovereignty, we get to remember that we are source, that we are God, that we are creator, that we are one with that. Yes, we are all, fractals of this source of God in this human experience, which is so beautiful to be in a body today. Thank you for being here. And also recognizing that that does not separate us from our source, from our heart, from our soul. So we get to choose where this energy is going. We're taking energy back there. In that sense of, I can command my space in my field and my energy by calling and claiming all parts of me back to me now, by cleansing and clearing and allowing what is not serving my highest and best good to be released into the earth, to be transmuted or to be used for transformation as moisture, whatever the land needs right now. Utilize that, transform this energy for that, or perhaps sending it off to our central sun, or sending it off to source itself, and allowing that energy to be transmuted back into its original light, becoming very specific here. And this is something I want to share a lot more about. I've shared it with a select few that have been working with me here and there. And I've noticed that as I work with other clients, especially those developing their light language and developing their gifts, they each have a beautiful way of cleansing and clearing, whether it's going through the chakras. One of my clients, she likes to imagine each chakra as a flower, and to begin smelling it and noticing and visualizing that flower of the color of the chakra, and just like feeling the entire body, balancing and cleansing. This is another beautiful practice that I love to do. I love to work with crystalline healing light going through every single chakra, all the way to my soul star, all the way around, allowing myself to deeply ground into the earth, deeply connect to my source, to my heart, to my soul, to call my higher self into my being now. And you can see it's like very grand, and I love it to be just such an accepting and inviting and expansive practice of cleansing, of purifying, of shielding and protecting. I think it is very important that we do shield and protect and actually say what it is that we are allowing in this space. I like to say that I only allow that of the purest of my soul's essence within this space. And this really assists me in discernment when it comes to energy, because when I feel things empathically, I feel them physically. And so when I'm working with clients and things like that, that helps me assist them through somatic practices and processes for healing and understanding of their own being. And I'm very grateful for this. But I've noticed when I don't necessarily do these practices of protecting myself sometimes, of actually cleansing my energy, I can start to feel a bit foggier, you know? I start to notice the difference, and I see it in the way that I hold my body. You know, maybe my posture changes, maybe my mood changes a little bit, and I don't put the responsibility on other people around me for that. Not at all. Not at all. There's obviously some resonance that I have with these types of energies that make me feel really foggy and down and just exhausted and just, you know, not having that sense of motivation or having a lot of frustration. These are very much, you know, themes that are not of me, of myself. So I noticed that, and I noticed that, okay, there's there's a part of me not listening to me right now, so it makes sense that they're a little frustrated, you know? And this is where, once again, returning to that sense of nourishment, allowing myself the opportunity to do that practice and know that I don't need to feel 1,000% good in order to do that practice. Sometimes when I'm not feeling the best, I want to release to source, and I want to make sure that I'm very intentional, that I'm calling on, you know, the guides of the highest and purest light and things like that to really assist me. Sometimes I just I don't feel like saying all of the things and commanding my space, and sometimes I'll just call upon my guides to help me. Sometimes I'll go lay on the earth. Sometimes I'll go in the shower and ask the water to assist me in this cleansing. I'll work with my herbs. I'll have infusions to really nourish me. And this has been super powerful for recognizing, like, oh yeah, I have responsibility over myself and my energy, and I get to choose to take these steps to nourish myself so that I can feel, you know, once again, centered. No matter what it is that I'm moving through, I can once again come back to intentionality, come back to my heart. And I've gotten very excited and shared a lot of words and a lot of information. And I know I said 5 tips. So the final one, which I already pretty much touched on, is taking responsibility of your actions, taking responsibility of your thoughts, of your beliefs, of your responses, your reactions, you know, taking responsibility over your energy. You know, not putting the blame on other people. Of course, there may be some memories where we notice, all right, we're not the only one in that situation. There were definitely a lot of energies mingling and commingling here to create this outcome, to create this reaction or the response. Understandable. But we get to, as we move forward, take responsibility back so that once again, we're calling and claiming ourselves back. Taking back responsibility over yourself. You know? You don't need to rely on everything else to give you what you need. And as we begin to really drop into that, into what that means in our lives, with our emotions, with our connections, our relationships, our actions, our responsibilities, we start to see, we start to notice a bit of a shift happening. We start to see, oh wow, where we may be leaning and receiving from different places, not realizing that, oh, I can choose to receive something from someone, yes. I can also choose to fill myself with that as well. You know, we get to choose how it is that we are navigating energetically. And some people may say, like, oh, there's so many different factors. Yes, there is. There are many different factors, you know, that comes to mind ancestrally, genetically, you know, the things that we're moving through, karmically, if you will, you know, and I feel it's all a part of our soul path, and I really do believe that we do have a sense of free will here. So we have this power of choice, so we get to take responsibility over our choices and to give and offer ourselves the deepest love that we are capable of offering ourselves here and now, to learn what a deeper love gets to be from the earth, from those around us, our reflections, from, oh my gosh, the elements, from our elders, from the plants, from the stones, from the crystals, right? From our experiences. Be a student. Take responsibility. Listen. Deeply listen to your being. I really pray that these tips inspired you above all else to really deepen into your own practice of reclamation, of energy work for yourself, to get to know your own energy, you know? There's not a one size fits all, and many people have powerful, beautiful practices for this. So feel free to try them out. I know I have, but at this point I'm very discerning about what practices I am doing when it comes to energy work, because I understand my energy. I have an understanding of how energy works, and so I really trust in that, and I allow these reflections that come forth to support me and to strengthen me and to also offer me more perspectives on my viewpoint. So I hope this offers you perspectives on reclaiming your energy. And once again, share in the comments down below, what practices would you like to share that have been super powerful for you as far as reclaiming your energy? Would love to hear. I'm sending you so much love. Please do like the video if this served you, and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in another video.